In April 1976, a professional hockey team tried to win a playoff series by standing under a plastic pyramid. Coach Red Kelly of the Toronto Maple Leafs hung one in the dressing room and gave every player exactly 4 minutes underneath it. Then, Toronto started winning. So, did the pyramid do it? They were not alone either. Grown adults were sharpening razors in pyramids, aging wine in pyramids, and filing patents on pyramids. And the whole movement rests on a founding story that its own founder never told. This is FactCat. Meet Pyramid Power. The story everyone tells starts inside the Great Pyramid of Egypt, and it is not true. As it is told, a French ironmonger stood in the king's chamber, looked into a bin, and found the bodies of small animals that had wandered in and died there. They had not rotted, they had dried out like tiny mummies. From that, he worked out that the shape itself was doing the preserving. The ironmonger was Bovis, a dowser from the French city of Nice, who lived from 1871 to 1947. He never claimed to have gone to Egypt. In his own self-published booklet from around 1935, he writes that he was unable to travel there to experiment, so he made small cardboard pyramids at home and swung a dowsing pendulum over them instead. That is the foundation of everything that follows. A pendulum, some cardboard, and a trip that never happened. Bovis is otherwise remembered for the Bovis scale, a dowsing measurement whose neutral value is 6,500, which tells you what kind of instrument we are dealing with. Bovis had a reader, and that reader got a patent out of it. In November 1949, a Czechoslovakian man named Karel de Bál filed an application in Prague for what he called a pharaoh's shaving device. It was a cardboard pyramid. You put your razor blade inside, edge pointing north, and the blade supposedly stayed sharp. The application specifies the geometry. Each side of the base equals the height multiplied by pi over 2. So a 10 centimetre pyramid gets a side of 15.7 centimetres, with the blade resting on a non-conducting support somewhere between 1/5 and 1/3 of the way up. De Bál said this focused the Earth's magnetic field. He never explained how the shape or the cardboard was supposed to do that. He did show his working though. 16 blades of a Czechoslovak brand called Ducat Zlato, he wrote, delivered 1,778 shaves between them. That is an average of 111 shaves a blade, against about 5 without the pyramid, and a drop from 73 razor blades a year per man to 8. The approval took years. The patent became valid in 1952 and was published in August 1959 as number 91,304. 2 things about that. When the television show Mythbusters ran a controlled test in 2005, blades under a pyramid went dull, exactly like the blades outside it. And the idea was never de Bál's to begin with. In 1933, 16 years before he filed, the Times of London printed letters from readers insisting that razor blades stored pointing north and south lasted longer. And one of those readers dated the trick back to about 1900. In 1968, 2 writers on the paranormal went looking for Iron Curtain parapsychology and came home with a cardboard pyramid. Sheida Ostrander and Lynn Schroeder found D'Urber's device on sale in Czechoslovakia, by then a commercially manufactured product. They met him, and they gave the pyramid a chapter of its own in their 1970 book, Psychic Discoveries Behind the Iron Curtain. That chapter is how the English-speaking world met pyramid power, and how it met the Egyptian story that Bovis never lived. After that, it moved fast. By October 1973, Time magazine was running a modern living feature titled Pyramid Power. For $3.50, you could buy a cardboard pyramid razor blade sharpener from the Toth Pyramid Company of New York, sold on the promise that it paid for itself because the blades never dulled. For $25, you could buy an opaque vinyl tent shaped like the Great Pyramid, marketed as an environment for meditation, biofeedback, and yoga. A doctor in Houston told the magazine that microbes under a pyramid survived 64 hours longer. That same year, 2 controlled tests appeared in the journal New Horizons, and the neurologist Terence Hines cites them both. Pyramid-shaped containers did nothing that a container of any other shape did not also do. 2 men spent the 1970s arguing over who invented a phrase that may belong to neither of them. In 1974, the author Max Toth published a book called Pyramid Power. In 1975, the inventor Patrick Flanagan published a book called Pyramid Power. Toth says Flanagan then sued him over the phrase itself. Here is the trouble with both claims. The words pyramid power were already in print in 1970, in Ostrander and Schroeder's book, before either man published anything. And those two credited the phrase to Czechoslovakian researchers in the 1960s, without naming a single one of them. So this is most likely an argument between 2 men who both got it from somewhere else. Toth had also bought the United States rights to D'Urbel's patent, which means the cardboard pyramid on an American shelf traced back to a Czechoslovak state patent. By 1980, the razor blades were beside the point. People were out here building pyramids big enough to stand inside. In the Danish village of Sejlflod in northern Jutland, a man named Borg Jensen read Flanagan's book and put one up black steel and concrete, 8 meters high, on a base 12 meters by 12, described at the time as the first of its kind in Europe. His claims for it were not modest. Time spent inside, he said, could heal disease, drastically lengthen a life, and make wine taste significantly better. That last one turned into a business. Summerhill Pyramid Winery in Kelowna, British Columbia, built a 4-story replica of the Great Pyramid, roughly 3,000 square feet of it, which the winery describes as an 8% scale model. Wine goes inside for 30 to 90 days. The winery calls this a 20-year experiment and says its daily blind tasters pick the pyramid-aged bottle almost unanimously. And in Salt Lake City, a religion called Summum, founded in 1975, finished its own pyramid in 1979. The shape had become architecture. April 1976. Toronto had finished the regular season with 83 points, the 7th seed. The Philadelphia Flyers had 118 points and the 2nd seed, a 35-point gap. Philadelphia had taken 7 of the 8 points available against Toronto that season, and the year before, they had swept the Leafs out of the playoffs in 4 straight games. The Flyers also had a charm of their own, and theirs had a track record. Instead of the national anthem, they played a recording of the singer Kate Smith performing God Bless America. They first did it in December 1969 and beat Toronto that night. Over the next 3 seasons, whenever that record went on, Philadelphia won 19 games, lost 1, and tied 1. Toronto lost the first 2 games of the quarterfinal in Philadelphia, 4-1 and 3-1. 2 games down, no wins, against a team a song apparently made unbeatable. So Red Kelly reached for a pyramid. And the reason he reached for it is the part that usually gets cut. His wife had been reading about pyramids and had used small ones to help their daughter through a run of headaches. Kelly said, at the time, that he was ready to try anything. He placed 5 plastic pyramids under the bench where the players sat. He hung a large one in the middle of the dressing room, and every player took a turn standing beneath it, 4 minutes each. That was the answer to Kate Smith. And then, Toronto won. Toronto took Game 3 at Maple Leaf Gardens 5-4. Game 4, 4-3. Back at the Spectrum in Philadelphia, they were beaten 7-1. And then, before Game 6 captain Darryl Sittler stored his sticks under the pyramid, went out in front of his home crowd and scored 5 goals on the Flyers goaltender Bernie Parent. That tied the record for goals in a single playoff game, set by the Montreal forward Maurice Richard in 1944. Parent stopped 31 of 39 shots and still lost. Toronto had now won all 3 of its home games. Game 7 was back in Philadelphia. Kate Smith, God Bless America, no pyramid. The Flyers won 7-3, and the series with it. Now say the confound out loud, because it is the whole story. The Pyramids were only ever in Toronto. Toronto won every game it played in Toronto, and lost every game it played in Philadelphia. 3-0 at home, 0-4 on the road. The Pyramids' record is the home ice record. They are the same number. And Sittler? 2 months before any Pyramid entered that dressing room, on the 7th of February 1976, he had put up 6 goals and 4 assists in a single game, 10 points, in an 11-4 win over Boston. That is still a National Hockey League record. Then, 2 weeks after Sittler's 5-goal playoff night, Reggie Leach of the Flyers scored 5 goals on 7 shots against Boston and tied exactly the same playoff record. No Pyramid anywhere near him. Leach finished that postseason with 19 goals in 16 games and won the Conn Smythe Trophy, even though Philadelphia lost the final. There is no evidence that Pyramid power does anything. There never was. What there is a hockey team standing one at a time under a lump of moulded plastic, waiting out its 4 minutes, hoping geometry could stop the Philadelphia Flyers. Shapes are just shapes. Fat Cat, out.